When I first logged into ZZZ a year ago, I'd experienced the feeling that media hadn't been able to evoke in me for a while, a sense of nostalgia. Mind you, I didn't grow up in a small town with tight friendly community. And yet, this tiny street full of colorful vendors and quirky encounters somehow felt like home. Since then, I've logged in every day and experienced the entirety of currently available main story, all agent stories, and all events. Today, to celebrate an entire year with ZZZ, I would like to share my account state with you. I'll talk about limited agents that I've recruited, including their signatures and mindscapes, or lack thereof. Reveal how much money I've spent, and touch upon future pool plans and some desires for the game. Let's start. My first S rank was graciously given to me by Standard Banner. As hard as it is to believe it right now, early in the game, Grace felt pretty powerful to use. Because I opted out of pulling for both Ellen and Julian, she had to carry me through early Shiyu Defense. In order to catch up to critical notes, I've used all given to that point batteries to bring up many A ranks. Right before our first reset of Shiyu Defense, I'd managed to clear first 3 stages. And I don't mean to brag, but it was a feat on its own without limited S ranks, even if I hadn't earned S scores. Comparing Polychrome reward to batteries spent, I can confidently say that it wasn't worth it. So if you have a fresh account, my advice is to take it easy and get there at your own pace. But back then, it was a fun challenge nonetheless. Teen gratefulness to Grace for carrying me for the first patch stopped me from pillaging her discs as soon as stronger electric anomaly showed up. Of course not, but I'm getting slightly ahead of myself. As painful as it was to skip Ellen and Julian, great units in terms of both strength and design, the patience had paid off. Since I was a child, for some reason I loved anthropomorphic rodents. Except in my childhood they looked like that. And now they look like this. Jane Doe became my first limited S rank. In live service games, it's not uncommon for characters to be power crept. But even a year later, Jane Doe feels awesome to play. Her extra dodge is satisfying to use in fast-paced combat, and big assault numbers never disappoint. What Jane lacks is not personal strength, but content to showcase that, which hopefully changes soon with the next patch featuring second limited physical anomaly. I also picked up her signature. Best undercover agent deserves at least that much. Section 6 shows up in the game pretty early, and the refreshing design of practical office attire, combined with subtle signs of offensive power, quickly converted me into a fan. Not to mention rumors of Miyabis' legendary power, stemming all the way from beta, long before game's official launch. So in version 1.3, I've picked up Yanagi, thinking that she would for sure become a staple teammate for Miyabi. But Yanagi's convenient invincibility frames, consistent damage output and build freedom made her into a surprisingly great standalone agent, so in my roster she has her own teams where she gets to shine as an on-field driver. The storm was approaching and fast. Getting her massive for free saved me from the dilemma of distributing my pulls equally to obtain all of Section 6. When I get some time, I'll get around building him, but so far missing his key teammates has stopped me from investing resources into him despite absolutely loving his design and story. This generous gift back in 1.4 allowed me to pull for Miyabi, and then a second Miyabi, third Miyabi, and when you are only one mindscape away from Noir name card, might as well pull for 4 Miyabis. Her unique scaling with crit practically requires you to pull for her signature, so patch 1.4 drained my stars significantly. However, I have zero regrets about that. Miyabi becomes a lot more self-sufficient at M2 and higher mindscapes. Half a year later, she still feels amazing to play. And to this day, Holt's Place is my favorite agent in the game. The storm left me dry, and because of that I took some time off pulling and skipped all agents up until Trigger. Her characterization of Blind Sniper is, at least in my experience, pretty unique, and I like bold choices in her design with eye cover and almost entirely off-field playstyle. I did pick up her signature. Defense shred on her W engine is an extra force support in a 3-agent team. Trigger is a highly versatile agent that I often slot into the team when I want better damage, but don't care to optimize rotations. Lastly, with patch 1.7 came Mockingbird faction. I have never expected to be so smitten by high society Sith vampire aesthetics. With some 50-50 luck, I managed to snatch both agents and Hugo's signature. Factions and synergy have been a flavorful part of the game in early patches, so even though I found both of their kits very fun to utilize, I am slightly disappointed that they don't work together at all. Speaking of a black sheep in his own faction, last addition to my roster has been Lighter. During his debut, he was in a tough spot of being stunner/support for agents that hadn't existed yet, so I skipped him first time around, despite liking his personality quite a lot. Luckily, in time for his rerun, I've gotten spots that he could fill. I'm still not entirely used to his playstyle. After Jane and Miyabis lone dodges, his circling around the enemy feels unusual, but I like the boxer nuance in his movement. As usual, the level of care and attention to characters' kits is commendable. Common feeling that players have after pulling Frenzy is regret. However, I haven't felt it once. I tend to ponder the value of a pull for my account, alongside the fun that I'm having while trying out a character. For example, you might have noticed that I'm missing Astriao. While I love her sound effects, her impractical design is not what I'm looking for when it comes to agents in ZZZ. Besides, after trying her out with different teammates, in modes that allow mixing trial characters in, I still can't say that her gameplay of adding quick assists into the rotations has clicked with me. Because of that, I decided not to get her, despite her undeniable pull value. At the moment, I own all standard S ranks, which is a refreshing situation. Out of those, I often play Rina, Lycan and Soldier 11, and used my anniversary selector to pick up Soldier 11's first Mindscape. It's incredible that this standard S rank still performs so well in endgame modes, and I adore how her level of strength is dependent on the player. Learning the timing to her basic attacks increases her damage output noticeably. As for A ranks, I have everyone at M6 except for Polkra and Panin Hu, and even in harder modes, I still often reach for Nicole, Sukaku and Lucy. Here are the teams that I set up and play often in Shiyu Defense and Deadly Assault with the agents that I pulled. Starting with third reset of Shiyu Defense, I was able to S-score all 7 floors consistently. As for the Deadly Assault, it took me a bit to confidently get 9 stars every time. I could always rely on Miyabi and Yanagi teams. But since I haven't pulled for any limited fire agents, I had to build and learn how to play Soldier 11. My journey is documented here, so if you're interested, give it a watch too. I've mentioned already that I've kept with the story as it was releasing, but with how controversial the topic of TV mode has been from the beginning, you might be surprised to find out that I've cleared all exploration missions way back in early patches. As much as I understand the dislikes that players had for this type of gameplay, I have to admit that I've enjoyed the stories of Kami Norse and Ballet Twins' Grandpa, or side quests such as Prophecy, and would like for stories like that to come back to the game in whatever way, shape or form. As for other means of progression, Mew Mew's nodes all done, Swabian Temple is restored, and I only have a small section left in Exploration Zone. I'm not rushing with Lost Void Collection, and working through badges, prisms and cards naturally, with 1 to 2 runs per week. But I have finished all available Ether activity levels. The repetitive nature of fights in towers is not something I enjoy in big quantities, so I only gotten the title for reaching 100th floor in time limited one, and then dipped. In the same manner, I'm not a fan of all the walking that quality time requires, and chipping those very slowly. On the bright side, there is still a lot of polychromes waiting to be claimed. I've gotten all achievements in Arcade for Soul Hounds, Bizarre Brigade and Mach 25, but I still have some ways to grow in Snake Duel. Regarding actual endgame, why is it so hard to catch a shiny octopus? A year with ZZZ has been fresh and fun. For the next year, I'm hoping for more small town stories, and with Failing Heights quirky NPCs, I think the start is pretty solid. Throughout the year, I bought Internet subscription 7 times, totaling to extra 12,600 polychromes. At the moment, I have saved up 250 encrypted master tapes, and I'm definitely picking up Yutsuha for my anomaly teams. If my polychrome count allows, I'll try to get Inagi's signature. That's the only W engine that I feel like would bring quite a significant value for my account. After that, it will be up for new agents to entice me. So far from the trailer no one else caught my eye, but battle animations and involvement in the story can easily sway me. While waiting for that one special agent, I plan on rebuilding most of my stunners with Skin of the Summon disc set, and keep honing my rotations, as I'm sure that there is more damage hiding in my teams, just waiting to be unlocked. How your first year with ZZZ has been? Are you having good luck with your pulls? Please share your answers in the comments below. I hope that this video allowed for you to get to know me a little bit better. Consider subscribing to not miss future content, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!